Welcome back to Daily News Today, the place where you catch the latest scoops without the fluff. We're here to hit you with the real deal, no-filter news updates, keeping you in the know. In a major ramp-up of Middle Eastern tensions, Israel and Lebanon are in an all-out showdown. Israel and the Lebanese party have gone full throttle, trading military blows left and right. The US is telling its people in Lebanon to get out of there, stat, as things look like they could spiral fast. With missiles flying and targeted hits on the rise, the heat is on and the whole region's on edge. While Israel cranks up its military game, diplomats, including President Biden, are scrambling to stop the bloodshed. But the clock's ticking and everyone's playing a dangerous game of chicken. If you're vibing with this content, smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss any new drops. And yo, check the links below for some dope gear from clothes to perfumes. Want to go the extra mile? Join the squad through our membership or super chat. We want to hear from you too, so drop your comments and let us know your thoughts. Your support keeps us hustling to bring you the best. So, here's the scoop. The Israeli Defense Ministry just clapped back at rumors on social media claiming Prime Minister Netanyahu's down for the count. They're calling it all fake news, saying the guy's in perfect shape, which just cranks up the drama even more. Now let's dive deeper. Word on the street is, Lebanon's unleashed over 3,000 missiles torching an Israeli weapons-packed train and even hitting Tel Aviv. It's officially game on, with Lebanon declaring it's an open reckoning battle. And get this, they're claiming big wins like taking down an Israeli convoy and bombing a major communications point which has the whole region bailing out fast. In a wild plot twist, Israel's military commander just pulled the brakes on plans to invade Lebanon. But then Iraq came in hot, launching Russian-made cruise missiles straight at Israeli targets. Yeah, it's getting wild. Meanwhile, El-Sisi, Egypt's head honcho, sent a straight-up no BS message to Netanyahu. At the same time, Russia's off doing its own thing, going full steam against Ukraine, making them fall back from key positions. Lebanon's missile strikes keep landing on Israeli tanks and bases, with local news saying they even nailed a tank in Marj with a guided missile. The hits just keep on coming. It's not just Lebanon throwing down either. 80 rockets hit deep into northern Israel. And yeah, while the Israeli army says no big damage yet, things are looking tense. The Lebanese party said they've started a new chapter called the Open Reckoning Battle, and their leaders saying it's payback time for the hits on southern Lebanon, flexing 2 new missiles that pack a serious punch. But that's not all. Iraqi factions kept it coming with more missile launches and drone attacks on key Israeli spots. Some of those drones hit their mark, while the Israelis say they intercepted a few weird aerial things. It's like everyone's just waiting for the next explosion. Egypt's president is fed up, saying Israel's got no chill or plan to stop the fighting. He's calling for them to step back to the way things were pre-October 7th, and there's more heat coming from the whole Gaza scene too. Over in Ukraine, Russia's pounding away with their commander talking up massive hits on Ukraine's stuff, tanks, and tech. They're calling it a fail on Ukraine's part, with Russia saying they've wiped out half of their gear. It's a full-on disaster for Ukraine's strategy. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, here comes the latest news shaking up the scene. Reports are coming in hot that Russia isn't just chilling in the background, they're doubling down on the military front. Moscow's cranked up their game in Ukraine, hitting strategic points hard, which means this whole thing's turning into a two-front conflict for the international community, and it's not just a Middle East thing anymore. While Israel and Lebanon are going toe-to-toe, Russia's throwing some serious weight around and everyone's paying attention. With Ukrainian forces scrambling to recover from heavy hits, world leaders are straight-up stressed about this all going sideways. Yemen just entered the chat. The Yemeni leader made it clear they've got a stash of drones and ballistic missiles ready to go, and they're promising bigger, badder moves if things keep escalating. They've already fired some warning shots, and Israel knows it's not just talk. This multi-country mess is quickly turning into something nobody wants to see, a global crisis on the edge. Washington's scrambling to figure this out, talking to allies and trying to keep the peace, but the chances of cooling things down are looking slim. Kirby from the National Security Council isn't mincing words. The clock's ticking, and without some big-time diplomatic wins, the risk of a blow-up is off the charts. They're calling on all parties to pull back before it's too late, but right now, both sides are just digging in deeper. And to add to the pressure cooker, the US is working overtime to protect its own. Embassies across the region are on high alert, with security beefed up and emergency plans in play. They're ready to help American citizens get out of Dodge if things go full meltdown mode. Meanwhile, Israel isn't backing down. They've hit back at key targets in Lebanon with precision, hitting what they call strategic spots linked to the Lebanese party's operations. They're sending a clear message: push us and we'll push back harder. But the Lebanese side isn't flinching. They've ramped up their strikes, hitting Israeli bases and military infrastructure. And now, with Iraqi militias launching missiles and deploying explosive drones, it's starting to look like the whole region is bracing for a drawn-out slugfest. Regional analysts are saying this thing could pop off in any direction at any minute. With the US and EU pushing for de-escalation, the big question is, can diplomacy outmuscle the momentum of all these military moves? Right now the ground game isn't looking good, but as Kirby says, the next few days will be make or break. Alright, let's get into the latest twist coming out of Israel. Word just dropped that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu isn't exactly sitting back while this whole situation heats up. After denying all those health rumors earlier, the Israeli leader has gone on the offensive, not just in military terms, but also politically. Netanyahu is doubling down on his messaging, addressing the nation with a strong speech last night. He laid out Israel's strategy, claiming they're not looking for an all-out war, but if the push comes to shove, they're ready to bring the hammer down. In typical Netanyahu fashion, he made it clear that Israel's got the muscle to handle any threats from Lebanon, Iraq, or anywhere else throwing their weight around. But here's the kicker. He's also putting serious pressure on his military chiefs to speed up operations and take decisive actions to neutralize threats. This means one thing: Israel's going all in to set the narrative and control the story before it spirals. And get this, inside sources say Netanyahu's been making phone calls to key allies, trying to lock in support in case this regional beef turns into a full-course meal. He's leaning on the US, the UK, and some low-key channels with regional heavyweights like Egypt, trying to keep them in Israel's corner. Word on the street is he's also prepping for a big diplomatic push at the UN, looking to keep the international community in check while Israel does its thing. But the heat's not just on the battlefield. Reports are coming out that opposition leaders in Israel are starting to push back hard. They're questioning whether this aggressive stance is really in Israel's best interest, or if it's going to drag them into a deeper mess. Netanyahu, though, seems unfazed. Dude's been here before and isn't backing down from his plan. As the tension cranks up, Netanyahu's got one eye on the battlefield and the other on the political game at home. But with international pressure building, and countries like Egypt dropping firm messages on both sides to ease off the gas, the coming days are make or break for Israel's leader. Stay locked here on Daily News Today. We're breaking down the drama as it unfolds. Hit that subscribe button and sound off in the comments. Do you think Netanyahu's playing this right, or is he setting Israel up for a deeper dive? Let us know below.